real secret to making good popcorn is in these 3 ingredients. Now, what you think? First of all, get yourself a nice large pot, whatever size that suits you. The important thing is that the pot needs to have an aluminum bottom so that the heat is distributed evenly. The next thing is fresh popcorn. Now you can see a large container of Orville Redenbacher's Original. That's not the important thing. That's the type I like to use. But the important thing is that you keep it sealed. Once you open the original seal, you're going to use press and seal underneath the original cap to reseal it. The next special ingredient is peanut oil. Doesn't need to be Planters, whatever peanut oil you choose. But the real issue of popping popcorn is that when you heat up any other oil other than peanut oil, a lot of times the taste of the popcorn is determined by the burning of the oil. Okay? This is the only thing I use. I don't use any other oils. I don't use butter. I don't use many of these other things you see people using. This is all I use. Okay? The next thing you're going to do is you're going to turn your oven or your range on all the way up to high. Highest you can get it. Then you're going to open up your olive or your peanut oil. I was going to say olive oil. You open up your peanut oil and you're going to cover the bottom of your pot like so. Not too deep. Just like that. You're going to let it heat up. Another thing I use is a laser thermostat. In this case, I put it on Fahrenheit. And right now I'm reading 86 Fahrenheit. Now it's raising. I'll get back with you when the heat is up to the proper temperature. All right, once it gets up to 300 degrees, we're gonna prepare a container that we're gonna pour the popcorn into once it's finished. And we're prepared right now to pour a certain amount of popcorn in the bottom of this. Basically, we're gonna cover the bottom of it. Let's look at our temperature again. We're up to 220. So once it gets up to 300, we're going to put our popcorn in. All right, we're getting close. We're getting close to 300. And once it reaches 300, we're going to turn down our heat to about 70%. Of our max heat. All right, now we're at 300. Now we're gonna put our kernels in. We're basically gonna cover the bottom. Just like so. All right. And you should hear them, as soon as you put them in, you should hear them frying. Starting to fry. Next big secret, put the lid on. But once you hear the first kernel pop, you're gonna crack the lid like this, okay? You're gonna grab yourself some oven mitts. Here I've got 2 towels to hold the lid and the side on, okay? Still going. Not worried about the temperature. I've taken it down already to about 70% on the heat, so it doesn't continue to rise. We still don't have our first kernel popped, but I want to also mention that you may want to wear an apron. Okay, I think I just heard the first kernel pop. Nope, not yet. But I definitely get some nice smells coming from the pot. There it is, there's our first kernel. Now I'm going to keep this lid cracked like this so the steam can escape. And once the popcorn starts to pop, it's going to start raising in the bottom. Once it gets to that level, popcorn comes up out here, I will take the lid off. You may have a couple kernels pop out from underneath. That's okay. Once this starts, I'm going to start shaking this back and forth to get the popcorn. Some of the kernels may have popped up into the already popped corn, and I want it to go to the bottom. Still popping. Kernels are still trying to come out the top, so we're going to leave the lid almost all the way closed. You can see the steam coming out. You want that steam to escape. You don't want the steam to get trapped in there, because what that'll do is it will cause the popcorn to be tough. So now we can lift our lid off. Going to turn our heat off. And we're going to empty it into our bowl. I'm not going to put that on video, but it's almost finished. All right, so there it is. Popcorn's finished. 0 kernels are burned. Nearly all kernels are popped. Now, depending on your popcorn, if you got fresh popcorn or not, will depend on if all of your kernels pop, okay? But it's important to use this press and seal. Use this press and seal to put back on your container before you put your lid on. A lot of popcorn videos out there that are really being made by people who don't know good popcorn, okay? You can put whatever topping you want on this thing. I'm not endorsing any topping, but there are many toppings that you can use to add onto your popcorn. Most of the time, for me, it's just kosher salt and a little bit of natural butter, melted butter. Right now, I'm just going to throw some salt on first, some kosher salt. All right. You're always going to put your salt on first, because you want your salt to migrate to the bottom of the pot. Then you can put your melted butter on top. You can get another container like this and flip the popcorn back and forth to evenly distribute the popcorn. So there you have it. That's the last popcorn recipe you'll ever need, I promise you.